Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Today is a very exciting day for me. I'm actually going to start planting up my new island garden bed. Actually, we haven't had any rain for about 6 weeks, and so the ground is very difficult to work. Since it's going to rain today, and actually right now it's drizzling, I started yesterday with my pickaxe to start to work on my clay soil. My neighbor came out and saw me, and he actually helped me to get the hole started. So it's important to be mindful of what you're doing. So I know that my clay soil is very hard to work, and every opportunity I get when there is rain in the forecast, I try to get it started so I can get things in the ground much easier. So let me go ahead and share with you the plants that I'll be adding to that island garden bed. If you can see behind me here, this red plant, that is a camellia. It's a Camellia Spirea, and I'm going to turn the camera around and give you a better view of this camellia. So this camellia is from the Southern Living Plant Collection. It is from their October Magic series, and it's called Crimson and Clover. So look at that red bloom with the yellow center. It's beautiful. I actually have one in the other island garden bed. So this plant is able to withstand full sun, which the island garden bed is in full sun. So I'm really excited about that. It's also evergreen and should grow between 8 and 10 feet tall to about 5 to 6 feet wide. So it'd be a really nice specimen. And what I like the most about camellias is that it blooms during the time of the year when there is nothing else in bloom. So it blooms in the fall. It's a Camellia Spirea, so it blooms in the fall into early winter, which is very different from the Camellia japonicas that blooms in the winter months all the way through April. And that's something I'd like to add more of. However, the japonicas tend to want to stay in part sun, semi-shade area. And right now I'm working on my island garden bed that's in full sun. So here is my center plant, which is a camellia. Now to add even more structure to that garden, I have some arborvitae. Actually, I have Dragon Prince Cryptomeria, and these Cryptomerias should grow about 3 feet tall and wide, and they'll stay rounded just like this, and they're evergreen. So there will always be structure in that garden, and I'm really excited. They're very low maintenance. They won't grow very tall. They won't really need much care, and so I'm looking forward to that. Also, to add a splash of color, I decided to go with Spirea. This Spirea is from Proven Winners, and it's actually called a double play candy corn Spirea. Now look at the color of the foliage here in early winter. So we're in December, so it's late fall, early winter. During the rest of the year, the foliage will change. It will go from a candy apple red to different hues of orange, gold, much like this. So you get a lot of interest from this plant from spring all the way down through fall and even into winter. So I'm really excited about this. I think this is also an evergreen, but it also should only grow to about 1.5 to 2 feet tall and maybe 3 feet wide. So it won't take up a lot of room, which means I'll have space to plant other perennials that will give me even more color in the spring and the summer. So these are the plants that I'm adding to my island garden bed, and I decided to spare you the trouble of seeing me throwing that pickaxe and breaking up the soil. But I'll definitely try to see if I can get some footage where I'm placing these in the ground. Okay, so here are the plants. I have 5 spireas. Actually, I had 6 and one died in the pot. I guess it just got dried out. The camellia, which I'll be using Hollytone for the camellia because it's acidic. And for the other plants, I will be using Plantone. I have 5 of the Cryptomeria, which is Dragon Prince Cryptomeria. I also have my garden fork here that I will use to break up the clumps of clay soil. And I have some topsoil to add to each planting hole to hopefully break up the clay soil. So I'll give you a closer look at the plants. Spirea, double play candy corn, crimson and clover, camellia, and the Dragon Prince Cryptomeria. So here are the holes that we just use the pickaxe just to break up. So I move the mulch back, then the mixture of topsoil and compost, and also the cardboard that was layered on top of the ground, and then just use the pickaxe to break up the clay soil. So you'll see chunks of clay soil. So what I'll do with my garden fork right now is to break up the chunks, add topsoil, then I'll add my Hollytone or Plantone and install each plant. Not sure what order I'll put the plants in, but there's enough holes to play with. So I'll show you, I'll just show you what I decide on doing. Just to give you a closer look at the clay soil and how chunky it is. This is what I'm breaking up with the garden fork. See how tough that is? That's what I'm having to break up. And I'll add topsoil to help to loosen it up. This is why it is so difficult. See, it's very hard to just break with my hands. This is why it is so hard to work the soil and to plant anything easily. It's a step-by-step process. It's not something you can do in a day. Okay, so now that I have broken up most of the clumps, what I'll be doing right now is to add some topsoil to each of the planting holes before I install the plants. So here we go. I'll just drop some topsoil in each of these holes, then I'll work it in with my garden fork just to help to break up the clay soil. Normally I would take out some of the clay soil, maybe 50%, and then mix it in, the rest of it with topsoil. But it's a lot of work, and these plants needs to be raised up 2 to 3 inches anyway. clay soil. One of the things that I haven't mentioned so far about all of these plants that I'm planting, the Camellia, the Cryptomeria, and the Spirea, is that they're all deer resistant. Okay, so I've worked in the topsoil as much as I can. So now it's planting time. I haven't decided exactly on the placement of the Cryptomeria and the Spirea, but we'll see. There are plenty of holes. So I'll start with the placement first before I put them in the ground. Okay, so here is the placement that I've decided on. The camellias in the center, and I decided to go with the spireas across the front, which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I have 6. One died in the pot, so I have 5 across the front here, and then the dragon prince, and it looks like the spirea is dwarfing the dragon prince, but over time the dragon prince should be much taller than the spirea. And then as a placeholder, I had some chrysanthemums, and I just have them in there as a placeholder for now because I had the holes dug. So I wanted to go ahead and put something in those holes. So chances are that the chrysanthemums won't stay where they are. And as a matter of fact, you know how gardening is. I'm not exactly, all of these plants will stay exactly where they are, but I like it so far. I like having the candy corn double play, or the double play candy corn spirea in the front, because it will always add interest, because the new growth is always changing. So that one over there, that's I'm not exactly sure that it's completely dead, but I wanted to also just put it in the ground because the hole is already dug. So I'll go ahead and I'll add the holly tone to the hole for the camellia and the plant tone for the other plants and get them in the ground. Holly tone. Added some water too. So here is the final placement of the plants in this island garden bed. You'll notice that the camellia is in the center. Across the front, there are 5 double play candy corn spireas. On this end, I have 3 of the cryptomerias. The spirea that was dying, I think I'm seeing a little bit of leaf on there, so I don't think it's totally dead. So I think in the springtime that will come back. That's towards the back on this end, and I did plug in some the mums, and again they're just placeholders at this point. Coming towards this end, on the back there, that's a hardy hibiscus, one of the head over heels and that one is a door. I really need to move it over and swap it out with that chrysanthemum, which I'll do at some point. On this end, there are 2 cryptomerias. I only had 5, so I know there are 3 at that end and only 2 on this end. I'll work on that in the spring. So this is the final placement. If you have not already subscribed, please do. This is a very young channel and a young garden that we started. We moved to this property 5 months ago, and so there is a lot to get done. I have a lot of ideas, and there is so much more to come. So please subscribe, follow along, share, hit the bell so you can be notified when I add more videos. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Take care. Bye.